What's up, everybody? It is week 8, day 2 of the LCS with coverage brought to you by Alienware. I'm holding it down in the parking lot with Apollo, just as same thing as always. Nothing has changed at all. No, Apollo, you guys just beat TSM in a pretty interesting match. Ooh, I don't think a lot of people predicted that, especially because they looked so dominant yesterday and Immortals has been having a rough time. So what do you think allowed that to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It was a little unexpected, even for us. Not saying like we weren't confident or anything. It's just we didn't really we didn't have like the greatest week of practice, and like yesterday we had like a pretty poor performance. Like it was almost unacceptable, you know. So just going into, I think we like I know it sounds weird, but we just tried a lot harder. Like we just like I don't know. We're just like really upset that we lost yesterday. So I think we focused more on how our draft laid out. Chose like a lot more and comfortable slash like team fighting composition, and I don't know. We just played like a lot better as a team today. We were more proactive. We were like very decisive on our calls. And yeah, but I don't really know. Like I can't really pinpoint a reason why it was like a lot better today. It's just the fact that we played better and we worked more as a team.
I mean, that was going to be my question, and you've already not answered it, so I can't ask you it anymore. Which is why do you think it was that everything looked different today?
Yeah, it's short answer. I think draft is one thing, and the other stuff is, it's like all those maybe a little bit of the intangibles. Just like we were feeling better today or something. I don't know. We had a better breakfast.
Yeah. Well, your standings still keep you. You're still in the running for playoffs. What do you think are the chances that you'll be able to make it through as we close in on the final week?
Yeah, I mean, I think with that win, like obviously we were hoping for a 2-0, but sorry, I was just putting chapstick on.
Is that
We were obviously
necessary?
hoping.
Did you need to do that?
Well, my lips are kind of chapped right now,
Okay.
and we were hoping for a 2-0, but with the 1-1, we're still like in a good spot for playoffs. We have I think we're 8 wins. I don't really know the standings. I can't like remember the standings, but I know that we have like a lot better chance. And even with tiebreakers, we're like 2-0 over TL, we're 2-0 over TSM. So those should be good, going into the playoff run. And the next 2 matches we have are EG and 100.
I can pull it up. This is the beauty of doing these interviews. Next week you play EG and you play Dignitas.
Oh, Dignitas, right. And I think EG have been looking pretty good, but Dig have been like kind of shaky. So I think it should be an easier week than this one. So I like our chances going into next week. I do think the whole remote thing is like a little bit. I don't know. Our team has always been better on stage, so it's kind of weird going like. I mean, you have like the scrim teams and you have the stage teams. We're definitely not a scrim team.
Yeah.
So doing the remote matches is like not necessarily good for us, but we still prove that we can, beat TSM today. So I'm still feeling confident.
I think one of the things that's super cute to me is that so many of the players that I've interviewed are wearing their jerseys still. And
Yeah.
I'm curious, was that like I didn't even realize it until just now, but is that was the org like you need to put it on for the interview, or are you guys putting on your jerseys for the games just like normal?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm allowed to talk about this. We have to record ourselves to make sure that we're playing. And then, so obviously that's one thing, right? But we don't have to have our jerseys for that. But it's also like if we record ourselves and we have these POVs, it's good for content. So such as you and even like our own content.
Gotcha.
Like IMT content. So.
But this was not like a league directive. Like theoretically, you don't need to wear it for this game.
No, that's not true. It's mainly the organization that wants us to wear it.
Okay.
Which is, I mean, it's fine.
Could
I can deal with that.
Could you be shirtless for the camera?
I could be completely naked, but I think because they see us like. Because the refs, or not the refs, well, yeah, the refs, but the people, because we record our games for Riot, so I'd be naked.
That's what I'm saying. I think it'd be hilarious. First off, I'm not condoning you being naked, but shirtless.
Sure. Oh,
I
right,
just
right.
love the
Sorry, I went
idea of
one step
like
further.
all the refs just going through their day, and then you're just sitting there, just no shirt on, bare chest, playing League of Legends, ready to
I feel
go.
like they couldn't really like. Can they really be mad because like I'm just trying to be at my peak performance,
Yeah,
and in order for me peak performance, I need to have no shirt on.
yeah, exactly. I think that's right. You say something like your heater's broken and it's
Yeah,
98
and
degrees in
it's
the
so hot in the IMT apartments, so there's nothing I could really do.
yeah.
I'll do that next week.
Good, thank you. I'm excited for it. And then we'll do the interview right afterwards, and
Yeah,
it'll
yeah. And
go.
I obviously can't have my t-shirt on for that.
I'll get great interviews or great content from it.
Yeah.
What is it? You said it's interesting. So you were nervous about this because IMT is not a scrim team. A lot of the players I've talked to seem to feel as though it doesn't make much of a difference. The playing at home. I mean, they acknowledge it is, but they don't feel like it's like scrims. They think it's kind of something in
It's in
between.
between. It's
Yeah,
definitely in between. I totally agree with that. I think it's, but I think we're like still, we're still not benefited by it, right?
yeah,
We're not benefited by the in between. I'm not saying it's like super drastic or anything. Like we're a full different team when we're on stage. It's just in terms of like in terms of just the difference between the two, I'd rather have the stage, for our team at least. But like I said, it doesn't really matter too much. It's probably all in my head anyways.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ica seemed to really pop off that game, and he's received a lot of criticism over the course of the split.
hmm
Any idea why, in particular, it seemed as though he had such a strong game?
Um, I mean, I think whenever I think, well, first off, I think he had a strong game today, but I don't know where all the criticism comes from. I think maybe it has to do with like the import slots, and people are just really upset that North American mids have been, kind of slowly being kicked out, which is like been happening for years. I don't know where this new thing came from, right? Like, and I don't know. Maybe he just didn't have good performances early on or whatever. But he's always been playing really well. Like even our wins versus TL, hundred. No, sorry, it wasn't hundred thieves. CLG, like those wins, he's playing really well. Just, I mean, I can't really I don't really understand where all the flack comes from. I've had bad games too, but I probably don't get flamed nearly as hard. So yeah, I think I have been in the past, but maybe not now.
Yeah. This has started to come up in my interviews over the course of this weekend. So I'm
Mm.
starting to ask all the pro players about it, even though it's a bit of a scoop, I guess. But there
Mm-hmm.
was this past week a series or a poll that went out to all the pro
Oh,
players.
I. How did you? I mean, I wasn't like I actually didn't want to say anything because I think it's kind of bad to talk about. But continue,
Well,
continue.
I'll provide the context for you.
Right, right,
So I
right.
found out about it earlier this week, and
Mm-hmm.
I talked to the head of the Players Association, and still kind of figuring out how I wanted to approach it in an interview in a video, and then it
Mm-hmm.
just started to come up in the pro player interviews. Like I didn't bring it up the first time, and then since then it's just like a lot of the pros are like, I'm surprised it's still happening, and then I'm like, ah,
Why?
okay, yeah. So I've just started to ask the pros about it, right? And it's interesting because everybody seems to have like a different take. But I guess for those that are watching this interview and haven't seen the other videos that this has come up in, so there was a poll or survey that went out to the pros that was about, do you want to continue to, or do you think Spring Split should be suspended or just played as a remote split? And
mm.
I'm correct in that, right? That was the
Yep,
question.
yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it sounds as though more than half, a little bit less than two-thirds, it said that they felt as though the split should be suspended and spring split should end. I'm kind of curious, what did you think of that? What you don't have to tell me how you voted necessarily, but what did you think of sort of the question, the situation, and then I don't know, kind of those results?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. I was actually really surprised that all the majority, I guess, majority of the pros wanted it to be canceled. I voted for just playing remote. Even though, like I was telling you, I didn't really think it benefited us. I was like, I actually like voted and I thought about it after. I was like, oh shit, maybe I should have voted to cancel.
Now, did you
But-
did you have that did you have that secondary thought after several lost scrim games or something? Was
No,
that
no,
your-
it was actually like almost an hour or two after. I was like, oh shit, maybe maybe that was like a bad idea. But
Yeah.
I figured everyone would just want to do it remote, mainly because like if it were to be canceled, I mean, I just feel like the whole like the whole thing would be off. Like it would be weird. Like just the scheduling. Like when would we continue the spring split? Like in 3 months, or like when, or were we just canceling all of it? I just
Yeah,
thought
I
the
heard it
whole
was canceling
logistics.
all of it, was my understanding.
Right, right. So I just thought the logistics would be. I don't know. I just didn't really like that. But people wanted the canceling split, and in terms of like my opinion on that, I uh I'm surprised that well, I think the bad part, which is gonna it's not good for Riot to hear. But like the weird thing is, we made this vote and we voted to cancel the split, and then the split continued. So us voting and polling did absolutely nothing. That's the bad part, I think.
Yeah.
And that was what I was like, okay, so if it was on the end where actually I'm not gonna say that, but yeah, I think that was kind of the bad part. It was a little bit like okay, well then our opinion didn't really matter in the end of the day at the
Yeah.
end of the day, so that
Well, would
sucks.
you have
But
wanted like so do you think that given that the majority of pros said this, do you think it should have been canceled even though you voted on the other side?
well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing. I guess that's the point. Is like I guess it should have been canceled because that's what the majority wanted, right? And at the end of the day, it kind of is. Well, okay, I don't know if it's all up to us, but if they're going to give us an option for a poll, then that means they're trying to take our opinion into consideration. Um, but then, like, when this happens, it's like, okay, so why did you guys even give us an option to, you know, have our opinion or have the poll? So,
Yeah.
like, I didn't really care either way, as you can probably tell. Like, I was kind of fine with either, but it stung a little bit knowing that like we had, we had this poll and then it actually didn't really matter, but it's fine.
Well, because I've just been kind of asking people their opinions, but because you're more of a veteran player and you and I know each other kind of well, I think it'd be kind of nice to just have a quick discussion about this. So when I first heard about it, I was like kind of disappointed in the pros because I'm like, what the hell? Like LPL is gonna keep going, LEC is gonna keep going. I guess that we
Oh
don't really
yeah.
know what, but it's gonna look really weird when LCS is just like the players said no,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Well, that's the thing is when I was thinking about it too, it's like I don't really know like all the reasons why like all the other or majority of the other pros wanted to be canceled, because in my mind, if we canceled, all of us are going to be sitting at home doing nothing. Like none of us are going to be traveling first off, right? Cuz like why the heck would you travel right now? And we're going to be quarantined, so we can't really go hang out with friends unless, I mean, you can hang out with friends, but you know what I mean, it's like to a lesser degree. So we're going to be sitting at home and playing League anyways. Like I don't know, it almost feels like we're like too like very I wouldn't say lazy, but maybe like unmotivated to play.
I mean,
I
that's
don't really
definitely the
know.
way I expected the community to take it. You know what I mean? When I first and since then, especially because the reasons I heard that were given to Riot and the owners based off of the poll
Mhm.
was one, spring split doesn't matter.
Okay. But
Two,
that's like such a stupid reason in my opinion. Or like I think saying straight play doesn't matter is I mean, it's I don't know the right way to describe it
sure,
besides being like mean. It's really stupid to say spring split doesn't matter, especially like in a team environment. Like you're using these games to get better as a team, and any competition like this is going to help you improve. I don't think anyone can argue that.
sure.
So, yeah, sorry.
So
Continue.
it was that this, and I'll give you some context too, because this was the initial thing I'd heard, and then when I talked to Players Association more formally, I heard some other stuff. But it was spring split doesn't matter. Uh, the break between spring and summer will be too short
I
because
mean,
summer's been moved up.
that's fair. I think that's definitely reasonable. I think the break is. I mean, it's nice to have like a longer break for us at least, but I don't really know the logistics of it. Like I don't know how long it would be or how short it would be, right?
Yeah, I think it'd
So
be because it's supposed to start middle of May now, so it'd be like either
right,
3 weeks or 4 weeks or something.
right. Which is, I mean, yeah,
I mean, it's funny because and all this stuff has changed. You know, this my understanding is the vote took place on like Monday. Now a week later, the entire state is under lockdown in a way that it maybe necessarily wasn't on Monday, and
right,
so
right.
maybe the idea of having this break sounds less reasonable. Which, as to your point, you're just like you
Yeah, you're
mentioned,
gonna
you
be
can hang
doing
out with
nothing
friends, but
anyways.
technically, I think the state or at least LA County, maybe both, has said you're not actually supposed to hang out with friends, even having people over to your home. So I don't know, but it's interesting. Then the third reason was safety. Was what I was told. Was it was kind of nebulous. But in talking
Mm,
with the Players Association, some of it is like, what happens if a player gets sick, and do we start like subbing people in at that point
mm,
in time? And maybe some of the international players would like to go home and be with their families during this time. Although questions around the safety of traveling in the first place. So it just seems like it's a really interesting, my perception of it changed from that initial moment where I was like, wow, these lazy players, the PoE season has come out and they all want to play Path of Exile. That's all they want to do.
yeah,
um
which
but
is, I
I
mean,
think
you
it's,
can do it during the season, guys. Don't worry.
yeah,
I'm just
well,
joking. I think it's
yikes,
difficult.
that explains a lot. Either way, I just think it was interesting, so I'm glad I got your take on it, and I'm glad we were able to kind of talk about it more generally. uh
Yeah, I think the one thing I can say is that the org, especially like management, have to work a lot harder during this time, which does kind of suck for them because of like the food situation is a lot different. Like scrimming and like us, they basically have to take care of us while we live in our apartments, And I kind of feel, well, I feel bad, and I'm thankful for that. They're like, they're treating us like children. They just bring us food, they order everything, and like anything that we need from the office that we had, like they just go get it for us. Like they leave stuff at our door because we can't see anybody. So yeah, it does kind of suck in that regard, and obviously like the safety of the players is probably number one priority, and not even just players, but everyone working in this, throughout this whole time. So like I think in regards of that, I think it makes sense for it to be canceled if it was maybe like more escalated, then it would make more sense. But right now it seems like relative, not tame, but like it's, I don't know. I don't know if it's as big of a deal. If we're all like quarantined, does that make sense? Like
yeah,
if
you're
we're all
saying,
able to go remote, I don't think it's going to be that bad.
right, right,
Like if we had to go to the studio, right, then I would be saying, yeah, there's no way we're going to do this. We're not going to do this. But since we all have the ability to play remote, I didn't think that it was going to be that bad in regarding safety.
yeah, you're saying you feel satisfied with the precautions that are being taken,
Yeah,
especially
yeah,
because, it's funny, or maybe not funny, but interesting to me. It seems as though the organizations are super taking it seriously, in part because they probably understand the repercussions of one of their players getting sick.
yeah,
So many of the players that I've spoken to this weekend are all like, "We are not allowed to go places." Like some of the teams have people going and doing all their grocery shopping for them and
yeah,
delivering stuff, wearing like masks and gloves and all that stuff. So I think it's been really fascinating to sort of see you guys are all treated as if, almost as if you are already sick, and
yeah,
like, just keep everybody, don't leave your home, stay there.
yeah. We are quarantined. I haven't gone out of my apartment for a long time. So, but yeah.
Are you gonna be okay in that situation? I mean, again, there's so many jokes about gamers being fined staying in their home all day, but like, are you, is it gonna get to you? I was just interviewing Broxa earlier, who said that like one of the ways in which he deals with like stress or anxiety or concerns are he goes to the gym, and he can't
Mm.
go to the gym because the gym's closed, he can't leave his place. So I don't know, are you doing okay?
I'm doing okay. I feel like I wasn't ever the one to like really need to go out to like relieve my stress. I mean, it would be nice to go hang out with friends and all that stuff, but it wasn't a necessity for me.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. And I wish I could say that I stopped going to the gym because of the coronavirus, but I just haven't been going to the gym.
The joke I keep making is that my six-pack is slowly fading away, and it's so depressing.
It's by the time I see anyone, it's probably going to be gone, I think.
Yeah, exactly. People are gonna see me, and I'm just not gonna be the built man that I normally am.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so embarrassing.
And I remember that day too. I remember you were really jacked, but
Yes.
now it's,
Yes.
I don't know.
I hope people remember me that way when they see me next. Anyway, I will. Is there anything that you want to say to any of the fans out there, the people watching?
Thank you guys for watching. It's been a really, I mean, I've been playing for, I mean, this is just a super strange environment, super strange, thing that's going on, and it sucks for everyone. But I thank you guys for, still watching, and I hope you guys are safe and being quarantined as well. I know I'm a lot more lucky and blessed to have like an environment to like stay home and not have to worry about anything, and I have people taking care of me. So, I hope you guys are, dealing with ways, dealing with it with your own ways. But yeah, thank you guys for watching.
Well, thank you so much, Apollo, for the interview. For everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things esports right here on my YouTube channel. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for watching that video. Very unique times that we find ourselves in. Want to give a shout out to my sponsor, Movement. They're based out of Los Angeles, a local business. They actually sent me this collector's watch that they did a limited run on recently. But you can actually save some money by using the link below if you want to grab something from their website. Stuff is really helpful for me. It's helpful for them. I know it's kind of a weird time for all of us, but doing that type of stuff, helping support my sponsors helps me out, even as, perhaps the things that I can offer them aren't interviews from live, giant, filled audience, packed arenas, and instead it's like this type of stuff. That kind of thing really does help me. So feel free to check them out. Even if you just click the link below, it helps me as they see that people are headed over there. So please check them out. Thank you again to Alienware as always, and stay tuned for more content as I make it here at home.